good and amazing day. But welcome to Perspective Shifts with Jonathan Jaclair. I prefer Jonathan, don't forget that. And also, today's segment is going to be conversations over coffee. So get your coffee, get your tea, get your water, whatever you like to drink, and let's sit down and have a good conversation about people who want to do certain things and they make content for that thing. They feel like an imposter or they aren't doing that certain thing because they are capturing the moment but not the memory of it until later they realize they missed the moment and only recall the memory. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. And I think I'm going to do like 7 episodes of conversations over coffee and let me know if this is something that you like. So basically, we're talking about imposter syndrome. For me, when I started creating content a year ago with my perspective shifts on TikTok and eventually YouTube, I would not say that I am a content creator, or I would not say I am a motivational speaker, philanthropist, whatever the case may be. I would say, oh, I'm just making content, or I'm doing this because I didn't have the followers. And I had to sit myself down and realize that I was sitting in imposter syndrome. And I had to understand that I am doing the work in order for me to say I am this or I am that. That's just like me going to a 9 to 5 and I get a manager position and somebody say, "What are you doing?" Well, I'm trying to be a manager, but you already have the job. Just because you didn't get your first paycheck doesn't mean that you're not a manager. And I thought that was so interesting. And it made me look at the aspect of other content creators and people that is doing things that they love. And sometimes they have to take a break, or sometimes they have to take a breather or a moment and be like, I really am living my dream, or I really am doing this in real life. And I didn't realize it because I wasn't present in the moment because I'm trying to capture the memories of it. And then when I look back, I missed the entire moment overall. I was there, I was present, but I wasn't present enough to where I can be fulfilled in what I am doing. And I thought that was really interesting. Um, I can say I was one of those people. And it took me a while, it took me a couple of months to be like, I'm really doing this. Like I sit down almost every day and I record. When I first started making perspective shifts on TikTok, I would record at least 20 to 30 videos at a time. All of them would not make it to social media, of course, but I would sit down and record. And eventually, my thoughts would run so rapid and be so fast that I would have to carry around a notebook. And any conversation that I would have with someone, or scrolling through social media, or just looking at nature would inspire a moment of realization of this is the way that the world is working, or this is the way that people think, or this is how people perceive reality, and this is what it really is. And that journal filled up really, really fast. And now I can just sit for hours and hours on end and sit with my thoughts and analyze people, places, and things to the minute detail of it, to where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's even things that I realized, paid attention to, but didn't know how to put it into words. And now I'm able to put those into words and be able to share it with the world overall. And even now, writing. Um, I feel like an imposter when I would tell people that I'm a writer. And I've been writing since middle school. And a couple of years ago, I let my writings go. I stopped writing completely. And my heart wasn't in it anymore because I was going through a very difficult and tough time to where I didn't want to live through the trauma as well as write the trauma on paper and visit it with the openness of my mind and my thoughts. That was tragic for me to be able to do that, to understand that I was processing what was going on, while living in it. It was weird how I thought about it. That's 100% okay. But now I'm able to write, and I put my writings on Substack, the ones that I'm willing to share, and some that I'm still working on, trying to make sure that I'm wording it correctly so people can relate and not allow it to go over their head or feel like I'm belittling my own emotions and my thought process because I'm afraid to say a certain sentence or a certain word. And that is the part that brings out the vulnerability in me. And with imposter syndrome, it brings out a part of you that you want to hide, but yet accept because you're showcasing it in public. And to showcase that in public allows a piece of you to block out the vulnerability that you are putting out. And once you realize that, you're like, I'm not an imposter. I'm actually doing this. And I wish people just start. Trying is starting, and starting is believing, and just keep going from there. And don't allow numbers to dictate how you feel about yourself or people call you an imposter. Most times, when people call you an imposter for doing the things that you love or even starting overall, is because they want you to quit before you really can begin. Or if you have already begun, they want you to look at yourself and devalue the work that you have done in order for them to feel successful in whatever case may be for them. And it sucks, but you have to understand that not everyone is okay with themselves. And like I say, that's 100% okay. Long as you don't bring your not okay with yourself over to my table to try to destroy everything that I'm trying to create. So that's where boundaries come from, and not allowing everybody to sit at your table. Because I've even made a perspective shifts about this. Just because you put caviar on a devaluing table doesn't diminish the caviar. It doesn't diminish the value of it because you placed it somewhere that it's not supposed to be. You have to understand the value of what you are bringing to that table and know when to walk away. Because small things turn into little things like termites. It'll eat away at a wooden table overall. It'll start off small, but eventually that table will fall apart. So you have to pay attention to the small details of how people are treating you, how they're showing up for you, how you're showing up for them. It has to be an equal give and take, or there will always be an unbalanced situation. Um, and imposter syndrome, I think it 100% leads with who all is in your circle believing and who all is in your circle telling you that you can't, telling you that you aren't, and just telling you the opposite of your forward movement, your momentum. Um, because those moments when you realize that you can pull up a picture or pull up a video of what you have done and not really remember the fulfillment in the moment of doing it, if you don't have someone in your corner, or not even yourself in your corner to be like, look what you have accomplished thus far. Look what you have started. Look what you have to actually stand in that moment and be able to look back and be like, dang, I really did that. Dang, I'm really winning. Let me check out my accomplishments. That's why I believe that an accomplishment wall, or even like a mood board with all your accomplishments on it and things that you want to also do in the future, is amazing. It's amazing, like not even an achievement or momentum, but it's an amazing points in life to see what you have done versus what you are still working towards. It gives you something to look forward to, but it also gives you something to stop in a moment to be like, I have done so much that me a year ago, me 6 months ago, me 2, 3 weeks ago would have been so proud to see this moment. Because I must admit, the moment you start, the old you dies. Let me say that again. The moment you start, the old you dies. The one that was looking for the momentum to start, the one that was looking for the encouragement, the one that was looking for the approval to just start. And the moment you start, you put everything else behind you to rest in order to look at the bigger picture and create the details of it. And you know, dang, that was I got to take a sip of my coffee after that one. That was a lot. That was a mouthful. That was a gem. Put it in your pocket. But overall, the moment you start, you are no longer an imposter. And the moment you quit, you'll feel like you was an imposter because you didn't recognize the moment that you started. And I wish more people would be more present in the moment as they take those pictures, as they make those videos, to understand imposters only exist if you don't start. Imposters are liars. Imposters are people that believe in illusions of reality that they create within their mind. But if you're doing it, you are no longer an imposter. You have the job. You have the content creation title. You have the writer title. You have whatever the case may be. That is now your new title. Replace imposter with the title that you have walked into. And it also, being present is like giving yourself your flowers each and every day, in every moment that you grace yourself with your purpose and your gifts. Being present allow you to not allow others to diminish the work that you are doing when you are putting your heart and soul into it. You will block out the noise because you understand you are the main character in the situation. You will block out the noise because you understand that if I wasn't doing what I was doing, you wouldn't be able to say anything to me. And the reason I say that is when you're doing what you're doing and you love it and you understand your position, no one can take it away from you unless you believe what they say. And if you believe what they say, you will be in the same place with them in the race. Some people will stop you to try to get on a train. And you know what? Let's deep dive into that. If a train is moving forward and somebody missed the train, the first thing they think in their mind is, how can I get the conductor to stop the train? How can I get the ticket master to get them to come back to pick me up? Some people will go to the next destination that they know that train will stop at to get on and complain, or even to get on to go where they are going. So if they can stop you at your next destination, tear you down to build you back up, at that point they'll feel like they made you. And at that point they'll try to label you as an imposter because they gave you the encouragement that you already gave yourself. Damn, that was deep. Let me take another sip of my coffee on that, because why? This is conversation over coffee. But if you got your tea, your water, your cold drink, whatever the case may be, take your sip. Let's enjoy this. Um, Another thing is, I okay, let me tell you. As I was doing my perspective shifts on TikTok, I told myself I will not make a podcast. I will not make a podcast. It is not my thing. And look at me now, starting a podcast, talking, because I realized the more in over the year that I have been recording my perspective shifts, I noticed they started getting longer and longer. And I wanted to say more, and I wanted to elaborate on it more, and I wanted to give more details than the few minutes I was getting from those short form content. And I would eventually have to break it down in little bite size, and I didn't like that because me, once I say something, I'm full throttle, I'm on go, and I'm just like pressing record, pressing record, pressing record. And once the momentum stopped for me, I don't want to stop until I'm tired and I take a rest. That also brings the case to this, the narrative to this. When you are doing something, and if people don't value what you are doing, understand what you are giving them. So let's think about that a little bit more. If a bus come by every 15 to 30 minutes, you know you can get on anytime you like within those 15 and 30 minutes of that bus coming. Versus a boat come once a month, and they know if they miss that boat this month, they would have to wait a whole nother month in order to get on it. Ooh. So the question is, are you allowing yourself to be a bus, or are you allowing yourself to be a boat? Because people don't value a bus as much as they value a boat. And think about the price that you pay to get on a bus versus the price that you're going to pay to get on a boat. You know, the boat is going to be a luxurious experience, but you know, the bus is going to be okay. I'm getting on, I'm getting to my stop, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm not really putting too much thought, effort, and attention to it. I'm paying attention to the other people on the bus, or I'm making sure nothing goes wrong. I have a watchful eye. Versus when you're on a boat, that watchful eye is an eye of experience, of eye of expansion, an eye of I have never seen something so beautiful before in my life. Look what has been made around me, and look what I am enduring and experiencing in order to get the fullness of this trip. Understand where your value lies and how you are putting your value in it, what you are putting into it. And don't allow somebody to tell you you're a bus when you know you're a boat. Kind of bring me back to the train situation. When I say that they go to the next destination because they understand they missed it the first time. So, all in all, imposter syndrome is only for people that never started. I think that is so interesting. Take another sip of my coffee on that one because I'm dropping gems for y'all tonight. Even though it may not be nighttime for y'all, it's not even nighttime for me. I don't even know why I say nighttime. It's like early in the morning, early in the morning. So, but maybe it's nighttime for somebody that needed to hear it, or maybe somebody who is listening to it. But I'm going to repeat the quote that I said at the beginning of this episode. People who want to do certain things and they make content for that thing, they feel like an imposter or they aren't doing that certain thing because they are capturing the moment but not the memory of it. Until later, they realize they missed the moment and only recalled the memory. Don't allow yourself to miss the memories of the moment because you was only trying to capture one thing. And that's the hurt of it all. To be able to have the pictures and have the videos, but can't relive the moment because you wasn't present for it. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. When I was going through my 7-year trial and tribulation, honey, that is what I'm going to call it. When I was going through my trial and tribulations, I was not present. I couldn't be present. I was fighting for my life. I was fighting for my child. I was fighting for my business. I was fighting um, for my life in general, overall. And it allowed my mind to go in. I wouldn't even say snooze mode. It was kind of like autopilot. And as hard as I try to be present for different moments, I still miss them. And it was like, I look back at pictures, I'm like, dang, you know, I miss being present in this moment with my child, or this moment with my accomplishment for my business, or just overall. The hardest part was missing the moments when my friend passed away and not realizing it until years later. You might be like, what? If that's your best friend, how did that happen? Let me tell you. So he and I had talked, and it was a couple of months before my birthday. My birthday is in December. And we were supposed to meet up. But I would have had to ask the judge for permission in order to leave. I don't want to go into details about what went on about that one, maybe at a later time. And I would have basically had to ask the judge for permission to leave the state. And I still was like, whatever, I'm going to ask and I'm going to see if I can make it happen. And he was like, come into town. But something in me, I was like, I love you, right? He was like, whoa, where that came from? I was like, I want you to always remember that I love you. And he was like, I love you too. And his friend was kind of laughing. He was like, dang. He was like, does she do that all the time? He was like, no, she don't. It threw me off. And I remember I was laying on the floor and I was like, I always want you to remember that. And he was like, I will. He was like, I'm going to see you around your birthday. We're going to make plans, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. I remember a little bit of somebody saying something happened to him, but I can't fully remember. I don't know. It's just like I remember, but then I don't remember. I wasn't fully present to really understand it. And it made me think about this. Maybe that was God preserving my mind in order for me not to lose it. And not being present for that moment made me look at life differently because I lost someone that was closest to me, someone who would stop everything they did to help me, and I would do the same for them. Like, they saved me so many times. I saved them so many times. I have watched this person cry. I have watched this person go through different motions in life. And just, this was my friend since like 2011. Yeah, I want to say 2011, like right when I got out of high school. But I ain't gonna tell y'all when I got out of high school. Child, honey, I'm getting old. But that's the beauty of getting older, though. But that hurt me the most, to not be present for that moment, to not see him, and the fact that he passed away right around my birthday, at the same time that we talked, did something to me in the inside once I found out. Because I was like, me and him never, I don't know why. It's just like one day I woke up and I was like, this is my life. I am out of all of the trauma that I was going through. I'm at peace. I have healed. I have went to therapy. I have done this. I have done that. And it's just like one day I was just like, this is my life. I was like, but why haven't I heard from my best friend? Like, me and him never went this long without talking. I was like, I want to talk to him. Went to his social media and I was like, he hasn't been posting anything. Call his phone number was disconnected. I'm like, what is going on? Like, we never went this long without talking. And something said, pay attention to the comments. And when I paid attention to the comments, I broke down like a child crying over a piece of candy that they can't have because somebody ate it. And all I saw was rest in peace. We miss you. And just your daughter is growing up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Where have I been? It was at that moment I realized that not being present can cost you memories that will either haunt you or that you will look back on for a lifetime of why wasn't I there? And I can't blame myself for not, being present, but because of everything that I was going through, but I still blame myself because that person meant the world to me. And when I woke up from everything that had went on in my life, I realized how old my child was and what grade she was in. It was like I was in a freaking daze. I can't even explain it. And it brought me to the point of realizing the art of being present, the art of doing everything that your heart is set out to do because you never know if you'll make it to the next day. And it brought me back to imposter syndrome because just because I was living, I wasn't living. I wasn't present in my living. So was I an imposter of my own time, of my own presence, of my own being? And with that question, it's yes and no. Because I was living, but I wasn't living. But was living worth living through the trauma in order to make it to the other side? Can I call myself an imposter because of that? Because I made it to the other side because I was living, but not living the way that I wanted to live? You see how that works? And it allowed me to be open and vulnerable with myself and make a change, make a switch. With my business, I've been in business for 7 years, but I'm taking a break. This year makes 7 years. 2026 makes 7 years that I was in business. Dang, I was in business almost as long as I was in trauma. Lord, let me take a sip of my coffee. But that business kept me as present as I could be. It kept my creativity alive. It allowed me to do something within everything else that was going on so I can still have a heartbeat. And that's why I love my business so much. It allowed me to take my anger and frustration out to make something so beautiful and things that people love. And even though I had hundreds and hundreds of reviews of people loving my products and of people buying more and telling me how great it is, I couldn't feel my greatness because I wasn't present for it. And now I look back at those reviews, at the videos, at the content that I created, and I was like, dang, I was really doing a damn thing. And that's 100% okay, you know. And sometimes you need a break to break out the mold of I was an imposter of my own time, even though you was living through a time that you felt like wasn't worth living, but it was worth living in order to get to the other side. That's me speaking of me, honey. But yeah, it's amazing how life and time and titles and situations, work, and the value of it all. So, what I'm saying is, don't be like me and miss years of being present in your life because you're trying to capture moments or you feel like surviving was worth more than living. That's what I'm trying to say. And understand that you're doing it. You're not an imposter. You are whatever it is that you're doing. And that's mastering the art of living. Um, so yeah, and then after all that, I had to sit down with myself and God and was like, what is my purpose? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? What do I love? And I was on the phone telling somebody about reality and a perspective shift that I had, and they was like, it went straight over their head. And it frustrated me because I'm like, you don't understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't see what I'm saying? And they was like, that's just too much. That's too much. And I'm thinking to myself, that's reality. And when I realized that they wasn't present enough to understand the reality that all of us, I'm gonna say this, all of us was living in, you can't be present enough to show up for me if you're not present enough to show up for yourself. And that's what I was thinking in my mind as I was talking. And they was like, you should, make videos about this. You can do motivational speaking. And they was telling me everything that I can do. I kept saying no, 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 no. It was at the end of 2024. And this girl had a video on social media. And she was like, January the 1st, 2025, we're going to keep each other accountable. And you put in the comments and you say this and that. And we're going to make sure we're doing this and we're going to stick to it. I said, God, what do you want me to do? I'm going to do it, but what do you want me to do? And I made a makeup video, doing my makeup, saying that I'm going to show up for social media for a year. I'm going to create content. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I was going to do it. And the crazy part about it is my phone had died and my charger was broken, so I had to record on my iPad. And I was like still making content, but I was like, I need to find something to do. God was like, the thing that you let go of was me refining your purpose for this moment. That hit me to my soul. And I used to, as a kid, I used to use writing as a way of escaping reality of situations or even talk about situations that I didn't understand. It was a moment of freedom between me and my pen or pencil, whatever I was writing with. And it was a moment of release in order for me to see me and other people to see me through my words. Finger claps. And I was like, but that's not something that I want to do. And I thought about what the person said. You ought to do this, you ought to do that. Like you have a mind for it. Like you're a really great speaker. You have some really good thoughts. In February, at the end of February, I was going to my favorite place in the world and I was going to meditate. And God say, take your tripod, take your phone, get all dressed up cute. Because there was another thing. I told myself I was going to get dressed up cute every single day. But mind you, the year before, in 2024, for a whole year, almost every day, I ran almost 10 plus miles a day because I was angry. I was frustrated. I just couldn't understand certain situations and dynamics. I analyzed every relationship, friendship, everything in my life, and I ran. So let's move it back on forward. So God told me to get dressed, get cute, sit on my tripod, and just start talking. Same way I talk to other people about perspective shifts, just start talking. And that's what I did. I started talking to the camera and meditating and stuff like that. And I uploaded it. People loved it. And I'm like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? That's what I thought the first day. I was like, I love it. I couldn't wait for the next time I recorded, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time. And now we're here a year later. I went from recording videos to writing Substack posts and writing over all. I don't share all my writing, but one day I would like to, hopefully in a book, but writing, and I'm doing a podcast. Who would have thought a year of being present, of a year of accepting my purpose and being in it and not feeling like I am an imposter, but doing it and not letting anyone discourage me from doing it because I didn't have the views that I want. I didn't have the followers that I wanted, the likes. I was like, whoever is hearing me needs to hear me so I can grow. And that's what kept me going and kept me going and kept me going. Then I like to run my mouth. So why not? And I like to talk about life and how people can really change their reality. How can they be present? How can they not play the games that the mental games that people play that they start us off with childhood, like guessing a number. If when someone tell you to guess a number and they got the number in their head and you close to that number, they can change the number or they can say you got the number right. You see, it's a mind game. You will never know if you got the number right or wrong because it's up to the person that's holding the number in their possession to tell you if you're a loser or a winner. And this started off as a child. You know, this is a game we played as kids. I talked about that. You know, I talk about all kind of stuff. This is the things that I love to do. It's like embedded and ingrained in me. And to know that I let it go for so many years because I was afraid of my own thoughts. And now that I'm present within not only my thoughts, but being who I was always meant to be, who I was refined to be, and now who I understand that I am. So I can no longer say that I am an imposter of all things when I am showing up, when I am trying, when I am doing all things that I want to do, that I know I can do, that I can be present enough to do, you know? So, with all that being said, all in all, don't allow time to pass you by because you forget to value it. And me not allowing nobody to tell me this or that, allow me to be a year strong and growing and branching off to all these different ventures to be, how can I explain it? Let me take a sip of my coffee. To be the amazing, beautiful, wonderful, strong, intelligent, powerful, philanthropist, motivational speaker, encourager, reality shifter that I am. So if I'm going to speak life into me, I want to speak life into you. Trying is starting. Starting is understand that trying was doing, taking the steps. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are kind. You are doing it because you love it. And if you don't, let it go because your purpose is waiting for you. Your purpose will allow you to branch off into things that you never thought was possible because you felt like you was an imposter, but really is embedded in you. Accept your title, and your title will allow you to soar and explore the world in ways that you thought being an imposter wouldn't. Would. Wouldn't. Would. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, speak life into yourself. Nobody's gonna speak life into you how you speak life into you. Look in the mirror and constantly tell yourself who you are and not what the world is telling you who they believe you is. Okay? Because the world will tell you sometimes an imposter is one of them. Just because you're trying. And I always remember this. Somebody tell you, oh, you're not a content creator. You only got this many followers. Yeah, me, sometimes I get real petty. I say, when you got that, what job you working? Are you working at customer service? You wasn't saying you was an imposter working at customer service, huh? When you first started working there, you made sure everybody knew what you was on, where you was working, and you didn't even get a paycheck yet. Can I call you an imposter because of that? Oh, okay. You see how that works? But I'm not telling y'all to do that. Maybe I am a little bit. But you got to understand, you got to bring people to reality when they trying to bring you to reality. We both got two realities. Are you willing to see the reality that you're living in versus the reality you trying to hone me into? That's the difference. You got to understand one accept theirs and the other one don't. Finger claps once again. And people don't like to look at themselves in a mirror. And when you realize that, you'll realize that you got an upper hand over them. And I'm not saying to hurt them, to belittle them, and to do things like that. No, 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 no. You have to understand the value of your tongue, the value of your movement, the value of who are you around. Are you around people that understand they can get on a train on a bus every 15 to 30 minutes or get on a boat once a month? And you know, some people wait once a month to get on that boat. You got to value yourself so high that they can't even afford the fare. Do you understand me? You don't want them getting on at all, especially if they don't believe in you. If you don't believe in me, you can't ride this train, honey. You can't get on this boat. None of that. But you can watch this motion. I know that's right. And just because you ride the motion, don't mean you know where I'm going. Mm-mm. But yeah, let me drink another sip of my coffee on that one. I hope y'all putting these gems in y'all pocket. It'll be valuable one day, or maybe today. Never know. But overall, all in all, I hope y'all enjoyed Conversations Over Coffee with Shanathon Jaclaire. And I hope you tune in to the next one. So have a good day or a good rest of your day. And remember, you are not an imposter if you are doing and if you are trying. But the moment you become an imposter is the moment that you quit and still say that you are doing and trying. So that's a perspective to shift your reality and something to really be thought about. So thank you. And if you are interested in my written perspective shifts, you can check them out on Substack. Don't forget to subscribe. And it's Shanathon Jaclaire. And if you are interested in short snippets or short form perspective shifts, check out my YouTube, which is right here. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. And also check out my TikTok and my link tree. Just check it all out. It has all the information that you need. And I look forward to seeing you soon somewhere on my platforms and making your presence known in my world that I am sharing with you guys. So there you go. And thank you for tuning in to Perspective Shifts with Jonathan Jacques Claire.